Hope you're keeping safe out there. Today I thought I'd do another list because, well, 2020. It's been an interesting year, to say the least. Yeah, a lot of stuff has gone down, but there's been some good stuff. We've had the tail end of the Siege line, the Earthrise line, the Netflix TV shows, well, the Netflix shows that you can watch on your TV. We've had some good stuff, and yeah, I've collected a lot of Transformers this year. I'm sure a lot of you have too. So at this time of year, I think it's a good idea to sort of take stock of what's come out and what's been good and what's been bad. And to do that, I am going to show you, or present to you now, my top 5 best and bottom 5 worst, I think that's how it works, Transformers I've owned in 2020. Now, just to get some things clear, these are Transformers I've owned. I'm not saying there's not better ones out there or worse ones out there, I've just not owned them. So they're not on the list. Also, even though I know some stores have now got in the Kingdom figures like In Demand and Comics and Cocktails, I'm not adding them onto the list yet because I don't own them yet, so... Okay then, so let's get this underway, shall we? Let's start off. Okay, so I'm kicking it off with the 5 worst Transformers toys I have owned this year. Number 5. Coming in at 5th place on the worst Transformers of the year. Technically it's not a Transformer. It's the Quintesson Judge, or just the Quintesson, from Earthrise. And this is only on the list because it's a great toy. Loads of people, myself included, have always really wanted a Quintesson toy. And in that regards it works. It's a Quintesson. But it's not a Transformer. But they forced a transformation onto it. It's like, if they just sold it and it didn't transform, it'd be great. But the fact that it's a transformation and it's so bad, it is awful. But that's the reason it's only number 5 on my worst list. I've got nothing against it. I like it. I love it actually as a Quintesson. But as a Transformer, it doesn't quite work. But it doesn't deserve to be the worst. But it needs to be brought up that yeah, it did need to transform. Unlike some other figures later on this list too. Really work great as figures, but should have been able to actually work as a Transformer and don't. But we'll get onto them later. Number 4. Next up is the Quintesson's buddy. It's the Alarcon Guard. And yet again, I don't hate this figure. I just appreciate it's not really great. I don't think they put much thought into the transformation. I mean, it kind of works, but most of the figure doesn't really transform. It just sort of like, you flip the alligator head up, you turn the arms round so you can't see them clearly, even though you can, and bring out the little tiny alligator arms, and it looks naff. It's even worse in robot mode, in the fact that the robot mode looks really great, except for these little tiny alligator arms just hanging off of the forearms for no good reason. There should have been, someone should have thought of a way. I mean, it's fold those arms into the body, bring out the alligator arms for alligator mode, and vice versa. Fold them into the body for robot mode, and fold out the robot arms. This design kind of needed like another pass through the ideas phase, just to iron out and maybe get some things done better. Because like apart from the pathetic transformation, let's face it, and the little tiny alligator arms, it's a good attempt at an Alarcon, and I'm glad we got one to go with the Quintesson. But unlike the Quintesson, which looks good in Quintesson mode and has a slightly naff, well, a very naff alternate mode, this one suffers in both modes, just from a lack of like real deep thought into how to make it work. I think just a little bit more effort should have been put into this figure. Number 3. Up next, it's gotta be Apeface. I feel sorry for doing this. I mean, the design for Apeface's figure is really good. The digital mock-ups look really good. The thought that went into it was brilliant. The engineering, it's amazing. But for some bloody reason, they decided to make him out of the milkiest coloured plastic you've ever seen. It's like condensed milk. It even feels weird. And then he's got, I know it's Siege, he's got the Siege battle damage, but it doesn't really, it just makes him look dirty on this figure. It doesn't really work very well. Not to mention that his sort of wing shieldy thing cast in clear plastic, and I've heard the horror stories of the peg breaking and it cracking and it being awful. And I might have been able to live with it. Oh, spoiler alert, I sold this figure on not long after I had him and reviewed him, because I knew if I had him, I'd have to get Snapdragon in the Earthrise line. But putting the two together, Snapdragon looks so much better, and it just makes him look so much worse. And it's like, oh, for that reason, just like, you have a great design, and you absolutely naff it up in the production stage with poor plastic choices, implementing a line-wide gimmick of battle damage paint, which no one really liked. A lot of people just removed it if they could. I felt so sad for this figure. And I felt sad because he was getting outshined by the other figure that's supposed to go with it. And for that reason, he's at the number 3 spot. Sorry, Apeface. Number 2. The figure at number 2 is there out of just pure frustration. It's the Generation Selects Bug-Byte. I know what you're thinking, this figure looks good, he looks cool in all these photos, he's a nice niche character they didn't have to make, but they have done it. They're drawing from like the outer limits of the Transformers universe, taking pseudo GoBots, and I agree. In theory, this figure should be brilliant. In theory, I should love this figure. But, okay. They took the Earthrise Cliffjumper body mould and added on the head from the, at the time, upcoming Siege Bumblebee figure from the Netflix series. Thing is though, okay, Bug-Byte is at heart a repaint of Bumblebee. He should be a VW Beetle. So why the hell did Hasbro decide to, we've got this Bumblebee figure coming out soon, we've got the mould, we've got all this moulding sorted, should we use it? No, let's just take the head from that mould and stick him on the same effing body as Cliffjumper and Hubcap. And I like Cliffjumper and Hubcap, because it works on them. But Bug-Byte is meant to be a VW Beetle. They have the mould, and they chose not to use it. This is madness. I held this thing in my hand for 5 minutes, looked at it, and the pure hatred I felt. Not to this poor figure, but the designs, or the choices behind its creation. And I couldn't help but loathe it. It must have been within an hour I sold it of him arriving. I'm like, I can't look at you. You are frustrating design and production decisions personified. Bug-Byte is at number 2 for the sheer frustration at the choices made by Hasbro when it came to making him. And at the top, number 1 is, let's face it, it couldn't have been anyone else at number 1. It's got to be Earthrise RC. This is a figure which isn't a Transformer. It has the most egregious parts forming I have ever seen on a Transformer. Not only that, but it's a shell. I think it's one of the worst shell former in history. I mean, you can literally pop a pin out, separate RC's backpack and the ridiculous Kibble skateboard, hoverboard, bollocks, and you can have that as a separate car. You can literally have 2 figures. You can have a pretty decent, apart from some strange feet, RC figure, which you can get third-party bits to add a G1 referential backpack. You can have this little figure, which is maybe okay for some people. Though if you want an RC figure, maybe wait for an RED line one, and a separate car. But the thing is, you're buying a Transformer. You're not buying a folded up origami Barbie, which you fit underneath a, to be honest, quite easily to break transforming, well, doesn't even transform, folding out car shell. It's just, it doesn't use any of the vehicle mass to make the robot mode. If you want to see a good RC that makes a good use of its vehicle mode mass to make a robot mode, Animated RC does it really well. Cyberverse RC, or still a bit of a shell former, does it better than this. This figure is just, it's going after cartoon referential aesthetics and just forgetting it's meant to be a Transformer. And it just, I know some people like it, I know some people love it. I have I see pictures of it and I think, oh, that looks really good. Then I remember actually owning it and thinking, oh no, it was really bad. What is this witchcraft? I can see a photo and like it. I can see photos of the same mould when it's reused as Elita 1 from the Siege Netflix line. You know, that looks really good. Then I remember, wait, no, it's not, it's bad. Don't. Yeah. The RC figure from Earthrise is, in my opinion, the worst Transformer figure I have owned in 2020. There might be worse out there, but I've not owned any of them. No. This took top space is my worst. This is it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all the worst ones out the way. Let's leave that negativity aside and start looking at the positive. My top 5 best Transformers I have owned in 2020. Number 5. Coming in at number 5, Earthrise Starscream. I really like this figure. He's really good. He's a design his design comes greatly from the generation, the Chug Seeker mold. You can see a lot of the design choices have been carried over to this figure, but he does it a bit better. He looks really good. He's got loads of personality. He's really colourful. He's as close as I think we're ever going to get, really, to a cartoon Starscream in real plastic form. And he's great, and as you can imagine, well, probably most of you know, he's had Thundercracker repaint, Skywarp repaint, retool into Dirge, Thrust and Ramjet. All I'm waiting for now is Sunstorm, Solar Storm, Ion Storm, Acid Storm, maybe a Shattered Glass. I'd actually really like a Shattered Glass Ridges mold, but yeah. Earthrise Starscream is my 5th best Transformer I've owned this year, and he's great. You can probably pick one up still. If you can, go get him. Wonderful figure. Number 4. Number 4 on my list, Generation Selects Exhaust. Now I know what you're thinking, isn't that just the Wheeljack mould? Yes it is, apart from the head. But it's a repaint and I think the colours look really good. The black, white and red, minus the green from Wheeljack, just really pop. They look really good. And I really like this figure, and for whatever reason his review is the most viewed video on my channel, so I've got to love him for that. But even if it wasn't just for that, he's the first mercenary figure we got. He looks really cool. Sort of like you know the backstory of where the colour scheme comes from, and that's interesting. No matter what group you put him in, he always looks cool, and for that reason, he's my pick at number 4 for the best Transformers of this year that I've owned. Number 3. Coming in at number 3, and this one really shocked me actually, it's Earthrise Grapple. I wasn't expecting this figure to even make the top 10, let alone top 5, and to be at number 3. But there's something about the figure, I think it distills Transformers. It goes from a good vehicle mode to a good robot mode with a good transformation. It has unique features, has unique accessories. It's both fun, it's functional. It's, as I said, it's quintessential Transformers, and it doesn't need it, but it looks really cool. The paint's really cool on it. The colours are cool. It's going to get remade into Inferno, which is also, I'm assuming, going to be really cool. And yeah, that's just it really. He's pretty much everything I look for in a Transformer. It's brilliant. So yeah, go get Hoist if you can. Wait, no, Grapple. Go Grapple if you can. Why have 2 Transformers with such similar names? I gotta remember, yeah. Oh, actually no, Hoist is quite cool. But no, definitely Grapple. Grapple's at number 3. Number 2. At number 2, Earthrise Cliffjumper. Now I know what you're thinking. Not that long ago, I was making fun of, or saying how much I hate Bugbite, who is the same mould. But Bugbite is not meant to be this mould. This mould is meant to be Cliffjumper. And it works. Hasbro performed a miracle here, and this is distilled, beautiful Cliffjumperiness. It's small for deluxe. Fine, I don't care. It might be small, but it does everything you want it to do. It comes with great accessories. It comes with a cannon that splits apart into guns, into a sled mode. It does everything you want it to do, and it looks stylish. It looks cool. Am I maybe overhyping this figure? Maybe. I don't give it. It's Cliffjumper. Cliffjumper is cool. This figure is great. And at the top, number 1 is And of course, my number one pick is, well, what else could it be? It's Earthrise Leader Class Optimus Prime. This is probably in my opinion, the best Transformer that's come out this year. It's an amazing update to the original G1 Optimus Prime. It takes everything that was good about the Siege version, makes it better, makes it more G1 referential, gives us a trailer, for God's sake. Whoever thought we'd see that again, a trailer with an Optimus Prime figure? And not only that, but it's engineered well. Its transformation is fun and interesting, but not too difficult. It has all the accessories we want. To a point, it comes with a matrix, brilliant. It comes with a gun. The gun folds away, marvelous. It's a beautiful figure, well articulated. It's Optimus Prime, for God's sake. How could it not be number one? And of course, throw on a few things from the accessory pack: the axe, the gun, or the larger gun, Roller. Who thought we'd get Roller? A Roller figure in 2020. Can you imagine it? But we have it. And all because of this figure. I mean, I love this figure so much. I'm buying him again. The Shattered Glass version. Because, obviously, I want to get the Shattered Glass version. I'm never going to turn down a Shattered Glass figure. Especially not one of a figure that's this great. So, yeah. At number one, Earthrise Optimus Prime. Well, okay. That's it. I know there are a few more figures that are going to come out this year. But so far, all the ones I've owned up until this point, these have been my top 5 and my bottom 5. And, as always, folks, stay safe, stay sane, and I'll see you all next time. Ta-da!